Welcome to the Worth the Wealth podcast, where we dive deep into what makes you truly wealthy and inspire you to believe that you are worth it. We explore it all, from taking control of your mental and physical health, navigating romantic and family relationships, to tearing down the walls around investing in the stock market, real estate, and beyond. Here you'll find inspiring stories of people just like you who stopped waiting for permission, bet on themselves, and are building a life where they don't just have to survive, they get to thrive. And we're going to teach you how to do the same. Together, we will open doors, overcome obstacles, challenge our limiting beliefs, and learn that a wealthy life is simple. You just have to learn how to work for it. The ways of wealth should not be gatekept, and it's time we talk about it. So let's jump in. Welcome to the Worth the Wealth podcast. I'm your host, McKenna Wallace. Today we have Nicki, who's one of my really close friends, and one day we'll be a business partner. We're working on that. We'll talk about that another time. But I am so excited to have this conversation with you because originally we were going to speak, what did we say, like a month and a half ago, 2 months ago?
Yeah.
And things kept getting in the way, as they always do. But I'm actually kind of excited that we're having this conversation now because so much in really both of our lives, but we're talking to you and about you today. So much has changed and has changed for the better. And
100%.
the topic that we're going to talk about today is night and day of what we would have talked about a month ago.
It's almost divine intervention, honestly.
I am a firm believer everything happens for a reason, and I feel like this conversation needed to happen today because honestly, like the way this fell together, because you said like I'm free on Tuesday starting at 2, and I said fine, I'll take your 2, and then an hour and a half ago, you were like, okay, I'm ready. Like sick, I was driving home from Costco. I was like, I gotta get home. So it really did happen. I think as perfect as it needed to be. So I'm really excited to let this transpire because I think that this topic that we're going to talk about today, I need to hear it. I need to be reminded of it. So I know everyone else does too. But before we hop in, I want you to do a little bit of an introduction of yourself. So like who you are personally, what you do in business, how you got into it, just lay it all out on the table so everyone knows who you are and what you're doing.
Yeah, so like you said, I'm Nicki Hajek. I have been a serial entrepreneur for years and years and years, over a decade. Started even beyond that. Growing up, my parents had owned their own business, my grandparents had owned their own business. And so that's always been something that I was passionate about. And after moving back to Texas, before that, I had owned a tattoo shop with my then husband and, had opened up a couple other businesses. And when I moved back to Texas, I really needed something that as a newly single mom, I could make a living and make a life at the same time. And so I started with a cleaning business, and that grew into property management and design and real estate. And then it just kind of was all very organic. So I now have multiple different streams of revenue and different business operations that I have going on behind the scenes with my teams that include things like business coaching, strategy development, marketing development, real estate investing, property management for short-term and mid-term rentals. And then of course my design business doing design for new construction, fix and flips, and property setups for short and mid-term rentals across the country.
Is that all?
Is that all for today?
We'll have 2 new ones tomorrow.
Yeah. I get the best ideas at nighttime when I'm, delirious and not thinking straight.
I think one thing about like entrepreneurs that people don't understand if they don't have that mind is I tell people all the time, I'm like, I have a new business idea. And I probably have about 7 or 8 new businesses a day. And I'm like, This would be really good. This would be really cool and fun. And I'm like, okay, but you have to like slow down and actually do one, McKenna. Like you can't just like knock it out. I love how you started just dominoed into everything else, and everything led you to where you are today.
I think that's what makes it successful, honestly, is that it was organic. It wasn't something that was pushed or, just for profit. It was something that was created because there was a need, first of all. And then it was just something that I enjoy doing. And that's, that's one of my favorite things about what I do is I love what I do. Like it doesn't, most of the things that I do don't feel like work. And the things that I do that do feel like work, I tend to try to delegate so that, because if you're doing those things, you just burn out, which kind of leads us into our conversation.
So yeah, that does lead us like right into the topic of what we want to talk about, like basically about burnout. And like I think you're the perfect person to talk about it because you are doing so much. And not only are you doing so much, but like tooting your horn for you, you're still putting things onto your plate because you want to be so successful. So there has to be a balance in it. And that is such a
100%.
hard thing to do. So I think the topic of dealing with burnout and learning to rest, not quit, is such an important thing
Yeah.
to talk about.
100%. It's crazy. Obviously, like I do the business coaching and stuff like that too, and I'm working with a client right now that is trying to grow their business, and they're doing $100,000 a month in revenue. I mean, they're killing it
That's
already. Their take home between the two of them is about $40,000 a month, after all expenses. So I mean, they're already crushing it, but they're doing so much, and they have built a business that is so dependent on them that they're not having time for themselves. And I found, like, over the course of my life and the numerous businesses that I've built both for myself and other people, if I'm the type of person, I have the personality that if I'm not busy, I immediately go into fight or flight mode. I'm like, oh my God, something is wrong. Why do I not have 6 gazillion things on my plate to do? And I feel like a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we feel that way because we're trying to keep moving, and we're taught over and over and over again, momentum is key, momentum is key. Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop. But your body naturally needs rest. Like your mind needs rest. And even if you're not doing physically exerting things, if you're doing things that are creative, if you're doing things that are strategical, it's exhausting mentally too. And that exhausts your body. So even if you're not physically doing it, you're mentally doing it, you're still becoming exhausted. And I've just found, like, over the years of this, like, if I don't remember to slow down, take a freaking break, take a breath, for one, I'm going to end up burnout, and I'm not going to want to do anything. And then it's going to take me a week or 2 weeks to recuperate, and then all of the momentum's gone. Like, you can't do that. So that's kind of where I've found that I have to take a pause every once in a while. And I do that in so many different ways. Like, it could be a day of rest by the pool. It could be a trip. Like, every quarter, I like to take a trip that's not just work related. Like, I travel a lot for my design stuff, setting up short-term rentals. I like to call those workations. Because I am out in a different area. I am checking out a new space. I usually stay on property, so that's really cool. But I'm also working, and I don't love the setup process of properties. I love the last bits and pieces where I get to come in and make everything pretty and stage it and make it lovely.
So something that something that I thought of while you were talking too, of learning to rest, is I'm a big sleeper. I love sleep. I'm a 7 hour, 8 hour. I have to, or I'm grumpy, and I'm a sleep girl. I love to sleep. And so one thing that I've learned is like sleep is your brain's time to process what you've learned and what you've been doing. And so when people are like, "Oh, I'm gonna hustle and pull all-nighters and blah 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 and do all this," like, no, it's to your detriment. And
It's so unhealthy.
it's so bad. And that's what I want to talk about, is how like you can have money, but if you lose sleep, like there's statistics out there that the amount of hours of sleep you lose a night equate to years off your life.
I think
And
it's really important to find out how much sleep you actually need too, because everybody's different. Like, my ideal bedtime, when I feel the best, is when I go to bed between 12 and 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm up around 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. Anytime between there, like, but that's when I feel like the most focused. If I get any more sleep than that, I'm groggy and exhausted and I feel like crap all day.
Yeah.
But other people like you like need 8-9 hours of sleep every night in order to feel fully rested.
Yeah, it's true. And I think part of what we have to do, not just as entrepreneurs, but as people, is we talk about self-awareness a lot, and a lot of that comes from mental, but also physical self-awareness. And mental goes into it with sleep, right? But like physical self-awareness of like, what does my individual body need? We're like shot up with all these, I don't want to say shot up. we're we are shot up, but we're inundated with all of these different ideals and like this diet's healthy and this one's not, and don't do keto, do this one. But reality is you have to be so aware and have such a good relationship with your body that like
100%.
like some
Yeah.
people like thrive on keto, some people don't, some people can have dairy, some people can't. So you really have to be like so individually aware of your needs as a person, mentally, physically, spiritually, that's how you gain that success. And I think that's how you avoid burnout too, is taking the time to get to know you.
It's so funny you say that because like we mentioned, we were going to talk about 2 months ago, and the things that have changed for me in the past 2 months, I have been like hyper aware, and I have not. So I have I don't know if it's celiac. Honestly, I have never been tested or anything like that. Anytime I eat any kind of carbohydrate, pasta, anything like that, it makes me feel just terrible, and so I've like basically cut those out entirely. Um, any kind of bread or anything like that, I basically cut it out entirely. And the inflammation, like if you saw me a couple of months ago, the inflammation that I had like is way down. I don't have as much pain in my body and things like that. So there's like definitely a big thing to taking care of yourself and knowing like this is my body's reaction to this. These are the things I need to stay away from. I think as I'm 37, so in my 20s, which I'm assuming, I hope that this is reaching people in their 20s because my God, if I knew what I know now and applied it, oh my God, where I would be now. So I really truly hope that this does reach, that group of people. But I did not take care of my body in my 20s. I did not take care of my mind in my 20s. I did not know how to rest. I was out, doing all of the things and hustling and partying and everything else. And that's another thing that I cut out. So I have not been drinking since Valentine's Day. I've had a couple drinks here and there that just like on special occasion, but otherwise I've not drank. And one of the things that I've really noticed, surrounding myself now in this level of my life, with the people that I surround myself with, if you look at them, 90% of them do not drink.
Mm-hmm.
Like the big names, big successful people that you're trying to emulate, they're not drinkers.
Yeah.
They don't drink. And the biggest reason is the clarity that you get, or the clarity that you lose rather, even from just going out and having a one night, drinking is massive. I mean, and as you age, it gets worse. It gets worse.
I mean, case in point, I went to dinner with a friend last night and we were like, I just got a beer at dinner. And then it turned into like, oh, let's just go like get one more at a bar that I haven't been to, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. 7 beers later, I woke up feeling like crap this morning and like I was like squinting, could not keep my eyes open. But like, it's true. And it's those things where it's like, it's not even worth it,
No.
Like strategically. And that's the thing. Like, I'm not one to be like, totally cut it out. Like, I'm not like a balls to the wall kind of girly. Like, but at the same time, it's like, be strategic. Like, McKenna, don't go out drinking on a Monday night.
Yeah.
And keep it for like one party a month.
For me, it was like the after effects. Mm-hmm. Like as I got older, like 30, I could have drank anybody under the table. It would have been a great time. Would have woke up and it felt a little bit off. 37 now, I go out, I have a couple drinks, and I immediately crash. Like immediately. And I feel like garbage for 2 days after the fact.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just like I said, the mental clarity that you have when you aren't is has been a huge game changer for me in the past like 3-4 months. So
Yeah.
that's been really cool. That's definitely been a big change. But yeah, just taking care of yourself. And like, I don't know. I just feel like like I said, I'm the type of person that if I'm not doing 50 gazillion things, something's wrong. So how do you kind of level that out to where you can handle all of these multiple things and still be able to grow all of those things and not kill yourself in the
Yes.
process,
Yeah.
mentally or physically? Because I mean, you start having all of these things coming on, and if you're not delegating, which is my first number one that you should definitely be doing if you're not delegating, if you're not delegating and you're trying to handle everything, you're going to get burned out. Like you're going to. And it's really exciting at first. You're like, oh, I've got all this momentum, this momentum, this momentum. But then that momentum stops when you have to carry it for so long. And that length of time differentiates between each different type of person. Like, what does your burnout feel like?
My burnout?
Mm-hmm.
My burnout literally feels like going from 70 in a vehicle to hitting a brick wall. Like, there's no
Yeah.
other way to explain it than like literally like instant death is my burnout. And it's like, it's anger. Like, I get really angry
Yeah.
because I'm such a perfectionist that when I do something imperfectly because I'm starting to burn out, I hit like panic mode. And I'm like, no, no, no,
Yeah.
I have to continue to do it perfect
But
because
then
if
it's
I
worse.
don't, yeah, and it's a horrible, horrible cycle. And then eventually it does hit like that moment of just like,
Complete shutdown.
just, yeah,
Yeah.
that's 100% like, I'm like, no, I need mental break. So that's something I personally have been trying to, not even trying to, I'm cutting trying to out of my vocabulary because like not to quote Yoda or nothing, but like do or do not, there is no try. When you're saying like, oh, I'm trying to do better at this, you're never gonna reach that. I try to not say no.
Try.
Try. I'm working on cutting try out of my vocabulary because like you either do it or you don't. And it's almost like the someday syndrome of like, oh, I'll do it
Mm-hmm.
someday. Well, someday never comes. So if you're trying to do it, then you're always in a constant state of trying and your brain
Mm-hmm.
recognizes that you're trying. So one thing that I'm improving within myself is the imperfect action. And the podcast is such a good representation of that because something goes wrong every episode. A guest doesn't show up, or my microphone isn't working, or this one was the app wasn't working, so my camera is different. Like, couldn't get things to work, couldn't get anything. Like, my computer basically crashed. So it's like something always happens. But
It's so funny you say that imperfect action because that's one of the things that I teach in my, like with my consulting stuff is it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be done.
yeah,
Like you don't have to have perfection to operate your business. You don't have to have perfection to have a relationship. You just have to do it. You have to apply yourself in some way, shape, or form. Like, who cares if you put up a post and it flops? Like, did you do it? Did you take the time to do it? Is there your name out there? Cool, great, you did it. Like,
let's be so for real, especially like let's piggybacking off of that when it comes to business things and when it comes to like social media posts in particular, because so many people do want to do social media. If it flops, cool. 90% of the time, if someone follows me or I see something and I'm looking for like validation on why I should be following this person, why I should let their thought processes into my life, is not because of the content, it's the number of pieces of content that they have. So
oh,
I'm looking more of like they have 200 posts versus, okay, well, what was their first 30 posts about? Like I'm looking for how frequent, not necessarily the quality of months and months ago. And I say this all the time. I can't remember if I've said it in a previous episode, but I say it all the time of like, do the imperfect thing because no one's watching you in the beginning. But they still watch you as you become more consistent and as you get better. So like no one's watching your first practice. No one's watching your first game, but they'll start like freshman year, right? No one's watching like the freshman JV, but it's those games and it's those practices that make it so once you're a senior, colleges are recruiting you. But if you start as a senior, no one's going to want to recruit you. It's those games and those practices no one's watching you freshman year that matter your senior year. And that's why it's so important to like get that imperfect action, get those reps, have the hiccups, post things that suck, post things that are like, oh, it's a little cringy, whatever, because it's those reps that get you to that perfection. And there's
It's
no such thing.
honestly the authenticity. And when it comes to social media, it's the authenticity. It's the not scripted bullshit. My language.
Yeah.
Like you don't, that's not it. Like it is the true authenticity that is going to, and the repetitiveness, the continuance of just showing up as you learn and grow. One of the, I was just in like a training. One of the coaches that I watch and that I'm really good friends with, Jesse Stanton. You know Jesse.
Yeah, I do. Not personally, but I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
So Jesse said, God, what did he say? So Jesse said that to utilize Facebook as like a journal to yourself, to your past self. So instead of like posting for people that are watching you, like post to you 5 years ago. What would you 5 years ago need to know today? And as you're like writing this out in like this journal format, it's gonna other people, anything you go to, I guarantee you, if you're going through it, someone else is going through it or has been through it or is about to go through it. 100% of the time, always, your experience is not unique. Like someone else somewhere in the universe is going through a very similar or very the same situation as you're going through. So if you start talking to, instead of like talking to who you think might be your ideal clientele or your ideal business partner or whatever, start speaking to yourself 5 years ago. And those people are going to start to come in because you're speaking to your authentic self. And those are the people that you want to be in a relation with. Like,
I love that, and I think that is brilliant too, because once you start, and I've noticed this because I've multiple times been like, I'm starting a YouTube channel and it's going to be about this, this, and this, and then it flops because I move away from whatever niche that I'm in or whatever. But once you start, and you can feel it within yourself of the authenticity, once you start to try and quote unquote attract a certain audience, is when your authenticity starts to walk out the door. And it's
yeah,
weird because you still could be speaking authentically. I have a lot of things that I talk about that I've been through, and I'm a full believer that a lot of the stuff that I went through in my 20s, as sucky as they were, it will help me help others. And I'm okay with that. So like that's my solace in all that I had to go through, was now I get to help someone else who's going through it or will go through it. But I love that concept of speak to yourself, because that's where the authenticity lies. It's not like, hey, you should listen to me because I've been through it, and like you're almost begging for attention when you do it, where you're like looking for your
it's
audience.
gross. It's cringy.
Like that's a new perspective for me on why you do it that way. Why you're talking to yourself versus talking to an audience that you're trying to
Yeah.
find, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, I literally just heard him say that and I was just like, wow, let's start utilizing that this way. And I feel like I have been, I just feel like I've always been very authentic on social media. I don't hide anything or sugarcoat anything. I will literally cry on Instagram. Like, don't test me. I will do it.
I'm the same way.
And I just don't care. And so I feel like I've been doing that. And I think that's what brings in the business that I have. But, social media can be exhausting too. Speaking, talking about burnout and stuff. If you're trying to capture a specific audience, like that's exhausting. That takes way too much planning. It takes way too much manipulation. Like that is freaking tiring. If you go out and you just speak to yourself or just share what's going on in your life, like every day I try to post something about my personal life, something about my business, and a story. But I don't have any kind of set regulations as far as what that looks like. I have a pretty great following on Facebook. All of my business has been organic. I don't do any paid marketing. The only one I ever did paid marketing on was not actually paid marketing. It was like a pay-per deal sort of thing with my cleaning business. But everything else has been organic. Like there's no reason to try to pressure yourself to post something that isn't about you. Like yesterday, I shared a post that was a picture of me and my son at the property that we were setting up and designing in San Antonio, and talked about how it's a family business and that he gets to go do cool things. Like he tells me almost every single time, and on other occasions just throughout the house, like when we're home, how much he loves what I do. And that what I do is so cool because we get to go travel and he gets to experience these new things and these new places and do all this stuff. And he loves it. Like he enjoys doing that. And I get to spend extra time with my kid. My daughter who's 17, just launched her first business. She now has a swim instructor business. And as a 17-year-old made over $500 in her first week. So
that's amazing.
Just being able to share these things is why I do what I do. And being able to teach them how to make sure, like my son, for example, going and taking him to places, he sees that we have to stop every once in a while we're there. And we take a day and we go do something. Like when we went last time, we went to the Riverwalk. We went, he really enjoys crab legs, so we went and had crab legs at Joe's Crab Shack on the Riverwalk. We went and did a trip at the Alamo. And so each time we go somewhere to a new place, we're taking a day to recover because it's exhausting.
Yeah.
And if I don't, I get cranky. And I was going to say to you earlier, it's almost symptoms that I can tell I'm almost about to burn out that I'll start feeling. And
yeah,
I'm like,
same way.
I'm really on the cusp aggressive. You're just you're very, what is the word I'm looking for? Agitable. I can feel myself getting really irritated really easily and almost coming off as snappy. I can feel myself becoming more lethargic and just wanting to sleep more and more and more. And then not feeling restful, after I've slept, not feeling restful. And so you're starting to feel these symptoms and you're like, whoa, how do I stop this? Yeah. And it's we get into this mindset though that we can't stop. And listening to those signs from your body and being like, no, I'm stopping is sometimes really hard to do, especially if you have other people that are dependent on you. It gets really, really hard. And so that's kind of something I've been trying to remind myself with over the past few months is I went on a trip in February, March, April, May, June. It's now June. I have to go on a trip this month or I'm going to lose my shit. So just doing the things that I know help reset my mind. And so I've been saying over and over to people in my life, I'm I need a trip. I need a workcation, not a workcation though. I need to be able to go somewhere, preferably by the water, because that resets my space, and be able to work if I want to without having the obligation to.
Yeah.
And that's been my thing lately is how I need to take a step back because there's so many things. There's so many things that are due. There's so many things that could be done to make things better that aren't an immediate must do, but should be done, you know what I mean? And I think that's where we get hung up on a lot is there's so much to do, and you hear people say all the time there's not enough hours in the day. I think there's enough hours in the day. It's just not you have to be strategic about how you're using them.
Yes, freaking louder for the people in the back on that one. Because I said that the other day to somebody. I was like, 24 hours isn't enough. And then I caught myself saying that. And I was like, girl, 24 hours is enough. Like, am I busy as hell right now? Yes. I'm growing 2 businesses while working more than full time at my full time job. And there's so much. Like, I feel like I have more going on currently on June, what is it? June 4th, 2nd, 3rd? What is the day? Like,
Yeah.
more today, whatever day it is, Tuesday? I don't know,
It
I'm
is Tuesday.
alive. I feel like I have more going on, and I haven't even hit turbo yet. I have more going on today than I have ever in my entire life. But I've learned, and am still learning, will always have to remind myself of learning to rest, not to burn out. And I'm the same way as
Yeah.
you. We're very similar in that way of like everything you're saying, like getting snappy, getting irritable, and all that. I'm like, girl, same. I get very like, very just like a bull.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Yeah.
definitely a Taurus. Like,
And it's
I'm
like
just
for
like,
no reason.
for no
It's
reason.
like for
And I
no
know
reason.
everything's fine. I know
Yeah.
everything's fine, but at the end, I'm still just like, fuck all this. Like, it just gets to the point where it's in my head, and it's like almost like manic a little bit, or I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't
Yeah.
get it all done. But I want to get it all done, but I'm not perfect, but I want to be perfect. And it's just like, it snowballs so bad. But I've learned to, because there was times, and I say all these things, I have a very hard time communicating this because my lower self, not my higher self, whenever I say things like this, I'm like, oh well, I'm not perfect at it, so I can't say it to the public. But that's something I'm trying to squash within myself of like, I'm not perfect because I'm human, not because I haven't reached the point where I can talk about it. So I I go back and forth. I'm
Wild
like,
concept, McKenna.
isn't it right? Like, I'm never gonna be perfect, so I might as well talk about it.
Yes.
But something that I've learned is in the past, I've reflected a lot on patterns in the past because I've been in the real estate investing space since 2021 and still haven't done it, and
Mm-hmm.
well, still hadn't done anything up until recently. And I was like, and that was part of it. I was like, McKenna, it's been 4 years. Where would you have been if you just would have taken the imperfect action? You would have been in a way different space than you currently are. But that's in the past. The best time to plant a tree is 10 years ago. The second best time is today. So it's neither
I
here nor
love it.
there. I don't hold on to it because what's the point? I can't.
What? Yeah, there is no point. That's unhealthy.
It's done, right? So one thing that I've learned about myself is instead of getting to the point where I burn completely out, because even in the past couple of weeks, people have been like, "You good?" And I'm like, I have no option but to be good. So yes, I am. No, I'm not. But yes, I am. But no, I'm not. And
Yeah.
but I have no other option because in my mind, I'm working hard for the next couple of years so that the next couple of years after that, I don't have to. So it's a
Yeah.
different kind of working hard. But instead of past McKenna would go, 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 burn out, break
Stop.
down, cry, get aggressive, get mean, whatever, and then stop for weeks and weeks and weeks. I
Mm-hmm.
literally like today was super busy. I knew we had this interview at 2, and instead of just being like, well, I gotta hustle, 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 like I gotta edit everything, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, like I just have to. I said, you know what? I'm feeling a little blah. I'm gonna sit down for 10 minutes and do nothing for 10 minutes. But that means do
Yes.
nothing for 10 minutes. Where people get it wrong and where like
Did they pick up their phone?
they get their phone and they start scrolling. And I get that that's kind of what we have been taught and what we've been conditioned to believe is that's relaxing. Your brain is still working.
It's
Like
not relaxing.
you
Especially if
have
you're
to do
doing
it.
your business on social media.
Mhm.
Scrolling through social media is not it. Do not even get on there because your brain is just automatically into the business mode.
Mhm.
It's funny that you bring that up because that's something that I do a lot is like and I've even messaged clients like and partners and they're like, hey, can we connect? And I'm like, yes, but I need you to give me 10 minutes because I'm turning my phone off. I will turn on a meditation. I will sit there in the dark and deep breathe. I will turn on just some quiet instrumental music. Like anything to just like mellow out my mind and then just sit there, and you have to like actually do nothing. I'm really glad that you do that, because that's like such a huge thing. It's been such a huge thing for me too, just like actually doing nothing instead of I'm doing like the normal nothing. What are you doing? Oh, nothing, just scrolling. Like
Just watching
that's
Netflix.
still something.
It is.
So
And that, like, I could repeat that 5 times of if you, and that's something, I think that's a big thing for me as I've been improving myself to not get burnt out and to just rest versus quit is it goes back, it circles back to like the self awareness and being like, okay, this is what my brain needs. Because I was noticing for me, I started to justify being, I don't want to say being a bad person because I wasn't being a bad person, but I was justifying like, oh, so sorry, I forgot to text you back for literally 2 weeks. I would just not respond to people. And that just became the norm of like, oh my gosh, I'm just so busy. I'm so sorry. No, the reality is I was in and I'm still coming out of such a brain fog because my entire life was just so inundated with all of this literal like shit. There was so much going on that was nothing going on. It took me meditating. I have this little contraption called Brain Tap, and it is like guided meditations, and it uses like red light therapy and blue light therapy. Like it's a whole like headset. It has changed my life because it's the only thing that has brought me out of this very weird autopilot mode that I've been in for years that I knew I was in but had no control over. I could not get out of it, and that changed everything. Was now I'm like, okay, I set deadlines. I want to get things up and running. I want to have like I have my plan a lot more like this is step one. Step one has like 1A, 1B, 1C. This is how this is going to be going. I've done the reverse engineering. I'm going to make it work. And that's the most I can say for anything I've ever done in like starting business. And it's all because I did start to do nothing. And that's such an
the
important
calendar is like planning your calendar out is literally the most important thing you could possibly do for yourself and your business or even your personal life. So I'm part of a thing called Owners Club. And within Owners Club, we do a calendar series. And that's the very first thing that you start with. And it's just this, this mindset shift and getting yourself ready to be able to own your life instead of allowing your life to own you. And that has made such a huge difference. It's not only business stuff. I have my personal calendar. I have my kids' calendars. We all have a family calendar. I have all of my different business calendars, and they all sync up to one where I'm subscribed to all of them. I can add myself to them. I can see what's going on. I can add them to my main calendar, and it blocks everything off so that all of my life is planned accordingly. And there's things on there that are like non-negotiables, and then there's things that are a little bit more flexible, and you can kind of add and move and manipulate those as you need to. But if you follow that, and this is where people get lost, is they'll put this all together, but then they won't actually stick to it. And so sticking to that calendar is like the key to that internal peace, because you're able to block off the mindset times. My 7 to 9 a.m. every single day, I have marked as daily prep. So my daily prep is get my kids ready for school when it's school time. When it's not school time, if I need some extra sleep, I can sleep in. My alarm goes off at around 8 o'clock on the summertime. And I get up. And then I spend about 15 minutes in bed drinking my water and scrolling through my messages and checking my things. That's how I start my day. It's how I enjoy starting my day. It helps me get into the space, get into the mindset. And it's like, it's not like detailed problems. Like I don't go looking for problems, but I just like quickly check my messages to make sure there's not anything that I've missed or that needs attended to right away. And then I scroll a little bit. So spend about 15 minutes doing this in the morning. I get up, I go, and on my mirror, I wish I could show you this, it has my just like manifestation mindset mantra on there that talks about how I attract abundance in life, love, and financial means. I think it's life experience and financial means, something like that. Anyways, love, life, and financial means. That's what it is. So it's talking about basically just that I attract and welcome in these things of abundance and, you know, these three facets of my life. And I say it every day. I see it every day. I repeat it. That's how I start my day. And then after that, I get ready and I come out and I'm in my office, I'm working, or I'm wherever I need to be. You know what I mean? But just having that on the calendar where this is my time, this is my me time. And if you need some extra fucking me time, add it to your calendar. Because you need it. Like, don't burn out on it. Just add it in there. And if you have to, like, make sure you have your things that are non-negotiables on there. And then the other things, like, if you need some extra space, put it in there. If you need 10 minutes, you shift something. Because if you don't, you're going to hate your life. You're not going to want to continue on. You're going to look at everything that you have to do as a burden instead of something you get to do. Like, I get to stay home with my kids when I want to. I get to go on vacation whenever the hell I want because I created this life for myself. I get to do these things because I get to help other people do the things that I help people do. It's not a chore. It's not something I have to do. It's something I want to do, and it's something I get to do, damn it. So when you start looking at things like that and then say, I don't have to do these things, like I don't have to have these meetings, but what does my life look like if I don't? Okay? But if these meetings are feeling overwhelming, then maybe I need to take 10 minutes out of my day to, like, re-energize myself.
Like,
and what does that look like? Yeah. Like, do I need to go lay out sunshine? Really motivates me. I am a sad woman when it is raining outside. I'm sad. Okay. I don't like it. I want to leave. I want to be bird and fly away. But sunshine motivates me. So, like, I will go and I will take my iPad or my headphones or whatever. I can go work. I can, you know, whatever I need to do. But I'll just go sit out in my backyard in a patio chair, and literally I'll pull it out in the middle of the yard and just sit there in the sunshine. And take 10 minutes to do something like that, to reset your brain to the mental state of, I get to do this.
Yes. So I love these kind of like back and forths because so much runs through my head as you're talking.
I know.
And I'm like, I got to remember all these things because I'm actively listening, but like I have to like check off all these things in my brain because I'm like, this is a good point. This is a good point. I want to piggyback. So some things that I love. So things that I want to point out from all of the gold that you just said. So time blocking your calendar. Yeah. That I can affirm has also changed my life.
Totally teacher.
So a couple things on that is set your calendar, but also follow your calendar, because you can put anything in a calendar, but if you're not going to do it, bitch, you ain't going to do it. And it means
it's
nothing.
It's not going to work unless you work it.
And here's the deal. Not only, I'm going to be so fucking for real for a second. Not only will it not help, it will set you back, because I say this all the time and I will say it until I'm dead. Your mind is either your best friend or your worst enemy. But when you say you are going to do something and you do not do it, your brain views you as that friend you invite, like, to be cordial, but you know they're not going to show up. Like that friend, you're like, oh, dinner plans are at 7, but you know sure as hell they're going to show up at 7:30. That is how your brain views you. So when you tell your brain, oh, I'm going to do this, but you've connect those little neuron pathways that say that you're not going to because you haven't showed up for yourself, it's going to continue that way. And I say this because I have, and sometimes still continue, it's a big thing I'm working on myself, is I'm like, oh, I'm going to do this. I know there's a little lizard back here that's like, no, she's not. She has said multiple
Well, it's
times she's
like
going to do stuff, and she hasn't.
it's like those it's creating a habit. I mean, you're
Hmm.
creating a habit. So your brain's doing the same thing that it does when you do something habitually. So if
Yes.
you are habitually showing up for yourself, your brain knows that you're going to do that. If you
Yes.
are habitually failing yourself, letting yourself down by not showing up for yourself, not doing the things you say you're going to do, you have essentially created a habit of not doing that. And so your brain automatically correlates that.
And that snowballs into less self-esteem, less
Mm-hmm.
self-worth. You don't believe you can do things because regardless of if you have these high aspirations and these huge dreams, you've taught your brain that you're not going to show up anyways, and your brain is wired to survive. So if your brain thinks you're not going to show up for something, it's not going to put energy and effort into you because you're not going to do it. So you teach yourself how you're going to treat yourself, and that will transpire into every other aspect of your life and other like any other relationship you're in. You will attract that vibe. In business, you will attract that vibe. That's why it's so important to have like this internal self-awareness, because if you don't know you and don't trust you and don't have a good relationship with you, you can't talk to you, then you're screwed. But
Well,
so
that right there, 100% is worth the wealth, my friend.
honestly,
That
that
honest
is
to
it.
God.
All right, cut. We're done.
I know.
Show's over.
Oh my God. That was honestly so good.
So, so there's that aspect of it. Like, if you, and again, I say these things and like everything start, I love life. Once you start to see synchronicities, they show up. And I feel like we keep on like intertwining
I
conversation from like 20, 30
know.
minutes ago and coming back in. I love it. So, something too is that like self-awareness and that like self-love of everything, of
Mm-hmm.
like doing time blocking. Before I time blocked forever ago. I set like recurring things on my calendar. Every
Mm-hmm.
morning it was 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. was personal time, but I never
Mm-hmm.
did anything with it. And I found for me what I needed was it broken down. So I wake up 5:30 to 6 o'clock to whatever is gym time. Then I have meditation. Then I have it literally so broken down because I am a checklister. And if I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, 5:30 to 6, boom, I'm up, checklist, done. I accomplished something. Okay, now I'm going to go to the gym. Boom, check. Instead of it being like, this is my personal time where I do this, and this.
Personal
I do
things.
whatever. Like, because what's a personal thing? My brain doesn't know. I need that
Yeah.
like structure, so I love it. But I have found what personally helps me to be successful. And I mean, I'm even to the point where I have scheduled in like shower and get ready time. In the schedule, I have what is a hair wash day and what is not a hair wash day. I have it so blocked in that like you could read my calendar and you would know exactly what I'm doing throughout the day. And I'm
Yeah.
talking like down to like I'm eating lunch at this time and that's it. Like I'm not doing anything but eating. I've gotten so into it, and that's because I'm learning to care about myself enough to know this is
Mm-hmm.
what I need to be successful. And is it a little bit extra? Hell yeah. But McKenna needs a little extra. So it's fine. But I've
uh,
learned so much from that. Like I have money date times, like I get paid. I have a money date with myself where I budget, and I have that non-negotiable money date times. And I um actually got this from, so I haven't shared this story on Worth the Wealth yet, but I grew up Mormon. And so I went on a Mormon mission, and one thing that they do as missionaries is once a week they have like weekly planning. I resented it for so long, and that's a topic that I'm not going to get into, but there's a lot behind that and a lot of lore with it. But I went back and I looked at the like topics of the weekly planning, and I was like, okay, there was something to it because my week was like completely and utterly like it was by every 30 minutes we knew what we were doing, how we were doing it, whatever. So I took that and actually made in the notes app of my phone my own personal planning session. So I do like, I set my goals and I make my plans for working shifts for my 9 to 5. And then
Mm-hmm.
I set goals and make plans for like fitness. Like I have everything so broken down that there is no wiggle room. There is no question about it.
Let me
And
ask a question on that.
yeah,
Do you share, like, with the people that are in your life, do you share your calendar with them?
no. And it's funny that you asked that because that's something that I have been feeling, not just calendars, but like to-do lists and stuff. Like I have
Mm-hmm.
a things that stress me out list, like the things
No.
that kind of paralyze me. And when I was adding something to it the other day, I was like, I should share this with somebody so that like not only do they get to see me like overcoming my stressed out list, but also like what is the saying, like a burden shared is a burden lifted or whatever that saying
Mm-hmm.
is, like not I'm very used to doing things alone and I'm overcoming that.
We're gonna have to overcome that, McKenna. So one of the things that has been super helpful um, for me is a lot of times, like even when you set a calendar, you're going to have other people who are in your life and expect things from you, right? Okay, well, it's really hard to expect things from you if they can see what you're doing. If they can see on your calendar, oh, she's in a meeting, oh, she's on a podcast, oh, she's at work, oh, she's, in a call, oh, this is her personal time. Like, if they can see it too, they're not on there. They're not going to ask you things anymore. So, part of the calendar series that we do is like really creating that. So, I mentioned like we have our family calendar and things like that. Everything is synced up to that, and everybody has like basically subscribed to each other's calendars where we
Hmm.
can see what everybody is doing at every given time. Like I know when my daughter's at work. I know they know when I'm in a meeting. Like they know not to come ask me or shoot me a text. And it's gonna take a lot off your plate because like do you ever get a text that's like, hey, what are you doing?
And it's so frustrating. You're like, shut up, I'm busy, but you can't
Mm,
say
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Or you're like, I've told you 6 times what I'm doing today. Like, why the fuck are you asking me again?
Yeah.
Well, because they can see what you're doing. So now, anytime somebody asks me, I'm like, go look at my calendar. Go look at my calendar.
Train them.
Yeah, exactly. You have to. And it's everybody. It's personal, it's business, it's everybody. And it's not because I don't want to have that interaction or like I don't want to interact with them. It's because I want to teach people to respect my time in the same way that I would respect theirs.
Yeah.
I want to respect myself enough to not overburden myself with things to do and people to answer to and questions to answer and all of that stuff. I don't want to do that. It's tiring. It doesn't make sense. I have this amazing tool that the universe and the freaking tech gods have provided us. Like, why not utilize it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's been a huge thing for me too. Is like you have, even if you create the calendar, like you got to put other people in it too. Put
Yeah.
the people that are in your lives, the most important people, not everybody. Like obviously, you're not gonna go and randomly somebody's gonna text you and be like, "Look at my calendar," that you don't know access to. But like,
Like, here's
you're
my calendar. See my entire life and where I'm at always.
I do. So actually, one thing that I do, obviously, like I'm not letting everybody subscribe to it. They don't need to know what I'm doing all the time. But if somebody's like, "Hey, what does your week look like?" I'll just take a screenshot of my week on my calendar and send it to them and be like, "This is my week. This is what it looks like."
Yeah, that's
And
exactly what
then
you did for me.
I
And
did.
I was like, let's
And
set
a
this
lot
up.
of times they're um, like when people are, especially when people are like texting me late at night and stuff like that, I'll be like, and I'm like, I want to politely be like, fuck off. um, then I'll just send, I'm like, hey, I'm like, I don't take calls after hours, but here's my calendar for the week, schedule a call. I have my calendar set up, things like that, but also I can just send them a screenshot and be like, this is what I got going on. Let me know what works for you. So it's a polite way of telling people to back up a little bit
Yeah.
and respect your space, respect your boundaries. Um, and then just also like, nobody's going to question what you're doing if you've got it all mapped out.
It's true. I want
It
to ask
provides validation.
a question to you with
Hmm.
that. So, we are taught as women stuff like this, like setting boundaries
Hmm.
is very, I don't want to say taboo. Taboo is not the word. But setting boundaries is something that is a new concept for a lot of people and is scary and intimidating because so many people are like, oh, I don't want to offend people. Is that something that came easy to you, or is that something you had to work on throughout building your business where you're like, hey, this is okay and not okay? This is what I want. This is my calendar.
I think that's a little bit of both. Um, depends on what version of Nikki you're asking. When I was doing the cleaning company, I think that that was difficult because I felt like my entire reputation required, and it was the very first full business that I had done all by myself and built out. So when I was doing that, I felt like I had to say yes to everybody to get that momentum. Um, in hindsight, that hurt me several times because I was taken advantage of
Hmm.
as far as time versus money. I was providing discounts where discounts shouldn't have been provided because I needed, to keep that momentum. I think I would have done just fine had I said no.
Yeah, I think that is a
Now,
big gold nugget for like business owners, especially a service-based industry. You don't, and
you
I
don't have to
dare
take
say
everything.
shouldn't have to or even try to do discounts when you first start.
Yeah,
Period.
no,
End of discussion. Don't
try.
do it.
Um, I would say that my best advice for new service businesses is just know your know your worth. uh, know your worth, know your value. Do your research on your competitors. You don't have to provide discounts to people. If you start providing them, they're going to expect them.
Hmm.
I did find a way to both provide a discount in that business and grow my business at the same time. It was within the bringing on new hires. And so when you booked a new hire after their training plan, then you got a discount on your first clean with a new hire
That's a
because you were getting them
that's
new.
good.
But that was the only way you were getting a discount with our company was if it was booked with somebody new and you're getting it as a discount, knowing that they were coming fresh out of training, and that's why.
I love that.
So
Sorry,
there's
we got totally off topic
strategic
there.
ways to do that, but I think now, after going through those experiences, um, and after just being taken advantage of throughout several different businesses, you get to a point. There comes a point in your business entrepreneurial life where you're just over it. You're over dealing with the bullshit. You're worth more than that. You know more than that. And honestly, this could have started a lot sooner for me, um, but it was a mindset thing. And I think once you hit that point where you're just like, I'm absolutely not dealing with that shit today, it just becomes a point of you don't want to harbor that point of contention anymore. And so at that point, you're just like, nope, this is not for me. And I regularly do kind of like a personal audit of the things that are in my life and in my business and the people that I'm working with. And I'm like, no, this is not aligning. And I'll just message them and I'll just say, hey, like, this is not aligning. If it's a business thing, I'll be like, hey, this is my life, my business is going in a different direction. I'll feel like this is aligning well for me. And I surely am not going to be able to provide the best support for you if we aren't aligning. So in 30 days, I will no longer be working on this project. And, if you need anything, help in the interim to get this shifted over, we can do that. But, give notice, but do those personal audits. Take time to reflect on what is in your life and where you want to go with it. If it's not aligning for your life, then move the fuck on.
Period. Move on.
Period.
Move on.
So,
And that's everything. And
yeah.
it's so it's so overlooked. Move on. What you don't
Yeah.
change, you choose.
I love
Like
that.
so many things in your life where you can complain about where you're at, what you're doing, your job, your money, your lack of money, your physical, your mental, whatever. You're
I'm gonna
choosing
tell you right
everything.
now, stop complaining. Like the more you complain about things, like when you put that negative energy out into the world, guess what freaking comes back to you?
Hmm.
Negative energy.
And
Like
you're reinforcing it. You're
you
reinforcing
are,
it in your
yeah.
head.
Don't say things about negative about yourself. Don't say, "Oh, I was so stupid about this." Like, "Oh, that
Oh
was
yeah,
really dumb of me." Like,
I've cut that out. I'll
what?
call it silly. Like I'll call it. I'm like, oh man, that was silly. Or
Yeah,
like,
I do
oh,
that. I do
I
the
would do
same.
that
That's so
differently now.
funny.
But I'm never like, oh my gosh, I'm so stupid. Like I don't say stuff like, and I don't
Yeah,
allow my friends to say it about themselves. Like whenever
yeah.
someone's like, man, talking down, whatever, I'm like, don't talk about my friend like that. Like, don't do it.
Yeah.
And I've started doing it to myself when my brain does it. I'm like, no, don't talk to my friend like that. Like
There's so
I'm,
many better ways to do it. Like you can acknowledge something that you did in the past that was a bad decision without saying something negative about yourself.
hmm
That lesson that I learned previously was able to provide me with this.
yeah,
Like spin it in a positive manner because the more positivity you put into the spaces and the universe and everything yourself, like it gives back all of that. Like everything that you're saying to yourself, in anything. I mean, there's literally science around like the music that we listen to and how that impacts the way that we think and the way that we act and all of that stuff. Like the same thing happens to your own voice, and your own voice is even more integral to yourself. Like it's your voice, so you
yeah,
are taking that a lot more in depth than you would someone else's voice. It hurts differently, it cuts differently. Don't say negative things about yourself and then expect the world to bring positivity into your life.
yeah.
Silly, silly,
Very,
silly.
very true.
I love it. Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to. It's not hard. It's can be difficult to remember how to leave space for yourself when you're trying to grow and amass an empire. And it can be hard to remember how that's important. Like that's just as important as sending out your billing for the month so you can get paid.
Yeah,
It's just as important as making sure your client call happens the way that you planned or that you're prepared for that. Taking time for yourself is what allows you to do all of those things.
yeah,
Giving yourself grace on the mistakes that can happen along the way because you're not doing these things is just as important as doing these things.
yeah. One quote that I heard a long time ago and it stuck with me is you can be everything, but not all at once.
I love it. Yeah, for sure.
And it, it resonates because, especially if you're an entrepreneur and have an entrepreneurial mindset, I don't know an entrepreneur that doesn't want to be everything. Like that's part of the reason why we do it is because we want to be everything. And that everything looks different. My everything doesn't look like your everything, but I want to be everything. And it's relieving to know that it doesn't have to be all at once. Businesses, we were talking about you can be everything but not all at once. Meditation, things that I've learned through it. Shit, I have no idea. That's it.
Oh, we were talking about, God, yeah, I don't know either. Shit.
Apparently,
Where did it
I'm not
go?
supposed to share it.
I
Deaver
don't.
said, we'll just wrap up from here.
Okay.
We could go on and on and on. Like there's so many
We could
things.
go on forever.
Um, but yeah,
Maybe we should
so
start our own podcast with just us talking about
honestly,
everything.
honestly, we freaking could. I don't even have like closing questions because I hate closing questions because I feel like they're so fake. Of like I ask 4 questions every single time. But I guess
You know what I would like to do? I would like to ask your audience a question.
okay.
I would like to ask your audience to leave a note or comment or something and tell us what it is that brings them peace, like what is their calm down, their thing that levels them out. What are they going to do to implement some of these things that we've talked about in their lives? Because that's what this is all about. It's about sharing these strategies and these things that we've been through so that you guys don't have to go through them. Like, it's about allowing the people that came before you. And this is in all like coaching, it's in all mentorships, it's in all everything. The whole purpose of them in podcasts and everything is to be able to take somebody else's experiences and failures and mistakes and apply that knowledge that they've given, that they've learned to your own life so you don't have to go through it. So what is it that you're going to do to help make sure that you're not experiencing this burnout, to make sure that you're getting the amount of rest, the amount of mental, physical, emotional rest that you need in your life on a weekly, daily, monthly basis so that you don't have these burnout feelings? What are the things that are triggering you? I mean, go through this and really process these things for yourself. Take some time, leave a comment on it. We want to know that that you're receiving something from this, that you're receiving some value from this. And if you need help in this, like, you're not alone out there. There's a gazillion people in the world. I don't even actually know the number, but whatever. There's people in the world that are literally have been through this. They're here and they're ready and they're opening their hand. McKenna and I have some really great resources of just networks that can contribute regardless of whether you're going into, we do a lot of real estate stuff or business stuff, or maybe it's like just personal development stuff. We have a lot of resources at our disposal. So just like understanding that you're not alone, that you do have these resources available to you. I think that's a big thing as far as like a mental shift that it took me to find that I was not alone, that I didn't have to do everything alone, to really get that mental shift to where I felt safe enough to be my true authentic self. Yeah. And that took a lot. That took a lot off my shoulders and a lot off my heart to know that if I needed somebody, I could just reach out. And that burden and that clarity that comes with that is huge. So if you guys need anything, if you guys are watching, please let me know how this helped. Let McKenna know how, what you're working on. And just remember that as much as we want to hustle, we also have to allow time for our hearts and our minds to breathe. So that's all I got for you.
Awesome. I love it. Lastly, before we close out, how can people contact you?
All right. So make sure you put my last name in here because otherwise it's complicated.
I'll put everything in the show notes.
Okay, cool. You can find me on Instagram at the letter K, Nicole Hajek, Hajek. I'm also on Facebook, Nicki Hajek, really easy to find me there. I am maxed out on friends, so follow me. Don't friend me. But if you need anything, you can reach out to me that way. And then you can also go to my website. It's just nikkihajek.com and check out all the businesses and services that I offer and work with.
Awesome. Love that. And again, I'll put all that in the show notes. Well, thank you so much for being here. I'm glad it worked out.
Me too.
You will definitely be back on and we'll talk more like mental health stuff, less business stuff.
I love that.
Because I think that we could have a really good like banter back and forth about things that we've been through that definitely need to be talked about.
100%.
But yeah, I appreciate you so much and I appreciate you for listening. All of you out there who are listening, as always, follow us on Instagram at Worth the Wealth Show and subscribe, like all that jazz. That's so hard for me to plug, but I do anyways. All of the things, do it. We love you. You are worth wealth. You are worth everything. You are worth rest.
Yes.
And we will see you next time.
Bye.